Alrighty. Frankie, could you just spell your first name and last name for us, just to make sure that we have levels correct?
Sure. So FrankiewRiGHT.
Awesome. So, uh, my first question for you is throughout the pandemic, this has been a really, really challenging time for everybody, but particularly with people with disabilities and challenges. So, can you tell us, what are some of the challenges that you have faced throughout this that might be different from, particularly myself or Brett?
Yeah, well, me personally, I have a lot of problems with my legs. I had a severe back injury and I had a microdiscectomy for that, but because of how severe my injury was, it caused my neuropathy in my legs pretty bad. So mobility is a big issue for me. And I would say that one of the biggest things that I noticed that probably people wouldn't notice is the handicap spots. A lot of the handicap spots for parking have been changed into pickup spots, which is lovely and great and everything, but for us it really takes a toll because we have to park quite a bit further away. And I'm sure you wouldn't know this, but the requirements for a handicap pass in Canada are very, very strict. You are only able to walk, I think it's like 50 meters, and that's all you can do. So the fact that they've moved even further away is so counterproductive to us, that it's just so debilitating. And like stores are huge, right? There's nowhere to sit in malls anymore. There's nowhere to sit in stores anymore. So that also is very difficult because I have to park more than 50 meters away from the door. And then I also have to go inside and do my shopping. So that's one of the things. So we switched to doing Instacart, which is all well and good, but then there's additional fees, right? Um, let's see here. The other thing that I really noticed that I know a lot of other people have noticed, but prices of things have gone up exponentially. And when you only make $15 an hour and you can only work 12 hours a week, um, I mean that's insane. I only make $300 a paycheck, so that's incredible. When you go to the grocery store and you buy 10 items for $100, it's ridiculous. Uh, yeah, so those are two of the biggest things, or some of the biggest things that I noticed. Really, with lack of places to sit and things, that's really frustrating. I would say that's probably the most frustrating thing.
Yes. Yeah. So, obviously, have you found it difficult or more difficult to, for instance, go out and get medicine? Obviously, I know you have to go get cortisone shots for your back and stuff like that. Have you found that throughout the pandemic that has made it more challenging and more difficult?
Definitely, yes. For a long time there, I have to go to a diagnostic center to get 2 injections in my spine. I do it every 3 months. But for a while there, all the emergency services and all of the health services were being allocated to COVID, and therefore I was unable to get in for my shot. And I think the one time it was almost I think it was like 6 to 8 months before I got it, and it was just absolutely debilitating. Um, and again, frustrating because I can't drive myself there. I can't drive myself back because it's my legs. I can't drive without my legs. So again, nowhere to park. Super frustrating. And medicine as well. You have to go in and get it, and you have to go to the doctor to get it, and all of those things just sort of add up. I don't know if you've ever heard of something called the spoon theory, but it's something that disabled people use a lot to sort of tell able people and explain to them how they're feeling. So the spoon theory works is, say today I woke up, I have COVID, it's awesome. I have like 5 spoons to give today. Okay. So like this interview is probably going to take 2 of my spoons right there, right? So it's a good way to explain it. And that's sort of how I see it, is like every time that I get a blockage from COVID, i.e., a parking spot, or I can't sit at the mall, or I have to go get my pills or something, then that's just more spoons that it takes off. And it's really debilitating to be at the end of the day.
Yeah, and obviously really, really tough for that. So, do you think now, obviously, you mentioned that you do have COVID. Do you think this has affected you a lot worse than, for instance, let's say myself? Like, what are some of the challenges that you think are affecting you as opposed to, let's say, like someone like myself?
Well, I know that aches are part of the thing, but I have regular pain every day throughout my legs. So the pain of COVID in my muscles plus the pain in my legs, I I don't know if I slept at all the first night. I just sat here and basically cried to Sterling because I couldn't do anything else. You know, the pills weren't working, nothing was working. So I found that that was probably one of the hardest things. And then I suffer from fatigue, of course, because of my limited ability. And that is just way worse than it was before. Um, and of course, I'm missing days. I'm missing work days. So that one $300 check that I'm going to get is now $0. I can apply for the COVID benefit, but again, that's only so, that was another thing I was going to bring up actually. That's only so reliable as well because I was waiting for disability to get in touch with me, Disability Canada, before COVID hit. And I waited for 2 years on the list just for them to tell me to pound sand. And then I found out what they would have given me. It was abysmal, like $450 a month. It was brutal. But anyway, what was my point? No, so it's just really hard because the benefit even said you had to make a certain amount of money the year before, and I didn't. So I didn't apply, and I couldn't apply for that benefit at all. So that was just another hit to my quality of life because I can't afford. And you know, my husband supports me, of course. I do what I can, but at the same time, I want to be able to do nice things like go and get my nails done, or you know, go out with my friends, and it's just not really that doable, especially with COVID.
For sure. And my last kind of question for you here before I pass it off to Brett is obviously throughout the pandemic, what are some things that you saw and things that you think could vastly improve from your standpoint that either the government can do or just general way of life?
Oh, that's tough. I think one of the major solutions is to be more aware of your surroundings when it comes to people who are differently abled from you, because you know, you're seeing a lot of this rallying for everybody, you know, rallying for love and everything, and you just really don't hear that for the disabled community. You don't really hear like, oh yeah, let's you know, let's fix this parking spot issue, or you know, you just don't really hear that. So I think being more open, and this interview is probably great to be honest, because I think being more open and aware of just the struggles that really as an able-bodied person you just really don't even understand because you just don't feel it. Like when you get up in the morning, I'm sure you get up in the morning and you're good to go. I need like 10 minutes. Like I need to sit there, I need to get my shit together, you know, I need to make sure my feet are working. I don't have much feet in, or I don't have much feeling in my legs and my feet. So like it takes a minute for sure.
Oh, for sure.
So
And
I think
obviously the
listening would
spoon
help.
theory, I've never heard that. And, you know, that is something
Mhm.
that, you know, I'm definitely going to look at as different going forward.
It's very helpful. It really is helpful on our end and on your end to kind of understand and be more accepting of people's limitations, right?
For
And
sure.
it's helpful for me because I was not born this way. I was injured, so I have a lot of struggling with accepting that. So it's really nice to have these kind of conversations for sure.
For sure. And thank you, Frankie. I'm going to pass it over to Brett.
Sure.
Just 1 second.
Oh, awesome.
No coffee for you.
Oh, forgot to take mute off. So like when it comes to going places in public, do you find that like I guess city owned buildings plus like shopping malls and stuff like that aren't accessible even before the pandemic?
I love this topic. We were just talking about this. This city in particular is quite difficult to get around. Specific locations that I'm thinking of that come to mind would be like Kensington and 17th Ave. These are places that the city is deemed sort of historical, and therefore they don't want to change the structures and make them accessible. So almost all of the locations, if you look in Kensington, almost all of the locations have stairs, like almost all of them. And I worked there for quite a while, and they told me straight out that they were not going to fix it because of that, which is very frustrating. And then the other thing that I noticed is I had to sell my car. We we have one car at the moment because there's just no way to get another one at this point in time. So like I tried to walk to the bus stop from work the other day. And again, I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. And I think I did it probably 50 to 70 meters, and that's as far as I could get. And the bus stop from my work is at least 3 blocks away. So that's undoable. It's just not doable for me. And then the other one is I was looking into, because I don't have a car at the moment, Access Calgary, which is the new handy bus, which nobody told you, of course. But anyway, and I was looking into it, and not only does it cost money, of course, but you have a wait list of over a year. So like, and then of course things like Uber. Uber's great, except for, again, it costs money. And when I make $15 an hour and I have to take a $15 Uber there and back, what's even the point of going to work to make $30 for the rest of the day, right? So the accessibility in Calgary is very frustrating, and I do understand it to a certain extent. They want to keep the beauty of the city and the historical aspect and stuff, but I think there are ways that we could work around that.
So like, I guess you sort of answered that where like, if you can't walk to the bus stop, you take an Uber. So like, does the non-accessibility aspect of Calgary cause you not to go certain places and sort of travel farther, or say like there's a grocery store by your house, but it's not as easy to get to, so you go to like another part of the city?
Yeah, totally 100%. I see it all the time. I have friends that live downtown. It's hard for me because I have to find somewhere to park, and I have to walk to wherever they live. It's an everyday thing for me. It really is. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for my questions, because you answered some during Brendon's.
Yeah. I had a list of things over here that I thought were relevant. So.
Is there anything left on your list?
Yeah, actually, I have one more point that I wanted to make. Medication. I find I personally use cannabis as a pain reliever. The reason that I do this is because I'm 32, and the medicine that they want me to take is intense. It's very strong medicine. Most of it is opioids. And of course, we all know that opioids is just an incredibly slippery slope, and I have every single thing going against me, right? I don't have very much money. Opioids are expensive. If Sterling loses his benefits, I'm screwed, right? So the frustrating thing for me is that cannabis is not as accepted as like, so say I can't stand outside of a building and take my medicine, but I can pop a pill no problem and nobody will say a thing, right? Until I get to that point where I can't afford it, or it's not good enough for me anymore and I'm in so much pain that I need to go to bigger things like heroin or something like that. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So I think more understanding to other medicinal benefits is great. That was the only other thing I wanted to bring.
You for doing this and sitting down and have this conversation. I know, especially with COVID, at the worst of times, these conversations aren't easy to have, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. This was a great conversation. Anytime you want to have a chat, I'm so down. It was lovely to meet you, Brett. And for anybody who's watching this for me, I think I might post it on my YouTube channel. And just remember, as always, love is the answer.
Thanks, Frankie.
Thanks.
Thanks, Frankie.